All right, frequency sounds clear. Let's give it a shot here for the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Looks like the audience is here. Stan Freberg, X4000, the Billy May Orchestra, and the radios that you might remember from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, all tonight on the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks for joining us. Hope you can play along, whether it's in the SWL mode or with a tube-type radio. That's why we are here tonight, as we have been for the last, 35 years or so, to check in, talk about, and maybe find a new and unused old tube radio, the kind that glow in the dark. 27085 is where we are at on the RF side, channel 11, also streaming live at oldtuberadio.net, and I think there's even a YouTube video that pops up somewhere too. Hello to all our listeners and radio operators who are joining us tonight. I will try not to break anything. That is typically hard, or it's easy to break things. It is hard not to. I will try to do that. My name is Dennis, and I am the net controller for the evening. We start with a directed net roll call of shortwave listeners, although there are many of you. Some of you are on the list. You don't need to be on a list. This is not a club. There's no secret handshake. We don't charge dues. We just hope that you have a good time joining in with the rest of us. So, with that said, let me go to the shortwave listener roster, which is way over here. And I will say, is there a 00 on frequency over?
00, checking in.
00 checking in and checked in. Thank you, Jim, up at Course Gold. If you're playing the home game, this is week 7 of the 8-week roster for March 27th, 2021. Thanks for checking in. Always the cosmic check-in for SWL1, Dr. J. SWL2, Mr. OBP is out there tonight on the over on the video side. So if you're on the video chat, say hello to Oscar Bravo Papa and give him a radio check. He is 9 pounds, good modulation at Chestnut and Herndon, no doubt. SWL3, SWL4, SWL5. I'm going to give a proxy check in for Ida. SWL6, SWL7, and I'll give a proxy check-in for Mr. Ed. He was in earlier checking out some stuff, so he'll probably be back here in just a little bit. SWL, next we go up to SWL10, which means I should be looking at my video screen here and see who is out there. Chris Mueller, Talent 10 and 30. Hi, Chrissy, is at the ready, and I will get you checked in. Chrissy, so ever since Chrissy has shown up listening and watching and viewing the, I must say, the occurrences of green check-in radios have increased. So we'll see how that works tonight. Thanks for listening in. And let's see, I will mention that I will get into the Echolink node. So if you have the Echolink node dialed up, I will watch for your call to show up on the screen. And I know there's a bit of a delay, but I will bring up the audio from the Echolink, and we'll see if we can grab your audio that way. Give it a try here. Now that we've had this up for a week, thanks to 23 Skidoo for finagling not only the Earth Station satellites, the VoIP, and everything else on the Echolink site. And there is a node. He has listed the node up on the video chat, which is, let me write this down somewhere where I will see it. 354-780 for those of you who have the Echolink mode of operation. And I think I have that up and ready to go. So, all right, next thing we are going to do is back to the roll call. Radios are coming up. That'll take us to SWL 13, which means I should go over to my other screen and see who is out there. See who's listening in. Hello to Fresno, Fish Camp, Canby, Oregon, Mount Pleasant, up there in Pennsylvania, Belfast, Maine, Woodland Park, Colorado, Anoka, Minnesota, Squamish, BC, going up the pool from down the smoke below. Hello, Blackpool, Moncks Corner, South Carolina, Fairfax, Virginia, the unknown SWL. Hello to Bridgeport, West Virginia, and Brea, California, and a host of others. Next, we go to SWL 14. SWL 16, that's Charlie up there in Anoka. Hello, Charlie, we've got you on the list tonight. Let's go over to SWL 17. Hey, there's Charlie over on the video side. I think I see him. He's usually camera shy. Usually right on the other side. Charlie and Chuck are usually right on the other side of the screen there, pointing and holding up the cue cards and trying to make me look like a like a TV personality. I thought maybe the suit and tie and pocket protector would do it, but I still need help. I need lots of help. Let's try SWL 18. Don't add pictures to radio. It just messes things up. And SWL 19, Chet is out there in Derby, New York, Belfast, Maine. He's got one large dipole antenna. I think it stretches between the two states, and that's why the IPs get confused. Over to SWL 20.
Number 20 here. Please check in myself, 29 and 54. And last week I was talking to Mike about his R27, how to tune the dial in. And I mentioned something incorrectly. I told him a trimmer cap and an inductor coil. There is no inductor coil to tune next to the tuning condenser or channel tuning condenser, just the trim cap. So I just wanted to make that correction so nobody goes, where the heck is that thing at? So anyway, thank you, Dennis, and I'll be back later.
Very good. Always like the updated information, and it has been recorded, and hopefully everyone has made the update or whatever they need to do on that. Or maybe they're just leaving things alone. Don't even touch that golden screwdriver if it's working well. That's what we say here at the Gold Tube Radio Network. Sounding good, Harvey. Thank you. With the check-in. Let's go over to SWL 21, our long-distance check-in from the Wasoma Swamps of South Carolina. Mr. J.D. DD21, the host and curator of ORN Old Radio Night, which just concluded moments ago, I think. He is tired and needing rest after hours on the radio. And with the big on-the-air light tonight, he said he will be listening, as we used to say, in the horizontal mode. Let me see. Sometimes I can dial up. I don't know if all the stuff is ready here. I can dial up a little replay of the Old Radio Night, where tonight, what's happening on Old Radio Night? Tonight they were, he was talking on the DAC 4 mobile CB radio, although it looks like it says RCA on the picture, and the Maverick reverse preamp for Old Radio Night. Tune it in on the Dirty Diaper 21 video. Let's see what happens if we got some audio playback from that tonight. Okay, they're talking about a countdown, so maybe they were... Oh, maybe they're doing something with the space shuttle.
6, 2, 1.
Maybe they got a spacecraft taking off.
Old Tube Radio Network is coming on tonight. We love to listen to it. It lets us check in right. Dennis is the show host. He's way out in old Fresno.
Tell all not to bother you, because it's time for the show. O2 Radio Network is Saturday, so let it roll.
Hey, I agree with that. Let it roll. Thank you. I'm not sure. I think it's roundabout. Who is the voice there? An exclusive copyrighted feature of Old Radio Night shared with us here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Thank you. Thank you, DD21, Mr. JT. We've got you checked in. And as always, the home of the world's longest ground rod. And tonight it looked like the world's largest on-the-air light. That is bigger than anything I've seen at any of the TV or radio studios that I've been into. So I don't know how you do that. Let's go over to SWL 22. SWL 23. Let me see if, let's see, I've got that turned up. If we get a connection, we might be able to get a confirmation over the Echolink to actually make sure I've got this tuned in right for SWL 23. Let's see how that works. Looking for shortwave listener 23, KB6 GFD. All right, well, we'll do a take 3 on that, but it is up and running, and I know Mitch is out there somewhere.
KB6 GFD from KA3 TEB, stroke 23 Skidoo. Good evening, Dennis. Hello, SWLs. Checking in.
All right, you're sounding most perfect, not only on the Echolink, but across the Universal Media Netweb here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Thanks for checking in from far-off lands, but it is working, and also thanks for the extra special Echolink setup tonight. We'll catch you a little bit later. Thanks for checking in. AB6 GFD. Okay, next we have SWL 24. SWL 25. And I forgot to check with Jerry on the Wednesday night net to see if he was going to be playing music tonight. So maybe he is out somewhere. I'd like to promote that, but I don't know where he might be. But I know he's having a good time. Over to page 2, where we look for SWL 27. Then over to SWL 28. I have to refresh my screen to see if Gary is out there tonight. And there he is. He says, hello, everyone. SWL 28 checking in. Great weather here today, 75. I think it also got up to close to or near 75 here in this part of the Central Valley. Says he'll be here listening, but he does have dish duty. Can we start using paper plates? Let me tell you, I've done dish duty a couple times over in the green room. They don't use paper plates all the time, but sometimes... the people who should be doing the dishes have other things to do, or maybe they just can't show up. So I do step in. We do everything here. Take out the trash, do the dishes. And Gary, I like your idea about paper plates. I'm going to run that by the management here.
You better give Bozo more chocolate chip cookies. Maybe he'll do more.
Now that makes him sleepy.
Okay.
All right, and I scrolled up the screen. I see that 23 Skidoo tonight is on the SBE Sidebander 4. So I think it's kind of a rare radio, giving the obstinate old radio a tune-up after getting it running for the first time in years. All right, well, good luck on that. And I wish we could hear it in some form or another. So thanks for that. The Old Tube Radio Network, we're on the SWL roll call. If you're playing the home game, follow along. We're on page 2, and we will be checking in the tube radios coming up shortly. Proxy check-in for SWL 29. Also, Dwayne is listening in, doing the thing over there in Idaho, where I'm sure the weather is maybe not 75 degrees, but nice as well. Got you checked in, Dwayne. Over to SWL 31. Let me see who is out and about. I've not heard Robert and Teresa in a while, so I hope they are not having internet difficulties or antenna issues or things of that nature, because they are a good group over there and have given us many photos of their radio collection up on the Old Tube Radio Network Facebook site. So I'm going to get them proxy checked in. Over to SWL 32. SWL 33, that is the gang here at the Old Tube Radio Network. Control, myself, Bozo Control, and a host of many who will remain anonymous. Also want to say hello to, on the video site, 700 Weed Killer. Good evening, Dennis, from Inglewood, Ohio, with a wave to the group and all the SWLs, wherever they might be. North Charleston says it's too hot in South Carolina. 75 is nice. We're actually enjoying the supposed spring-like weather that has popped up here. We still need a little more rain here in the central part of California, so we're hoping to that. Old Time Radio Station says it's close to 90, so maybe that's what they're talking about. 75 sounds good, and it will be 90 here soon enough. No problem. Continuing with the roll call, we are looking for SWL 34. That's Mr. Railroader Jimmy and the gang out there near Chicago, Illinois.
Dennis, did you pass yourself up?
No, that big long check-in we just had was actually, I was dinging off of mine there.
Okay.
I figure if I have to intrude on anybody's check-in, it might as well be mine.
There you go. That works. That's okay.
34. I'll give Jimmy a proxy, but I bet he will be in at some point. It is probably almost midnight out there in Batavia. SWL 35. That's Mr. Bill out in Cheyenne, Wyoming, who checked in moments ago, I believe, on the old radio page. Let me see if I've got a recent check-in. 34 minutes ago from Mr. Bill out in Cheyenne, where I think the weather's getting at least less winter-like. SWL 36. A shortwave listener 37.
37. You know why he checked in at 7 o'clock? Because it was 8 o'clock his time.
Yeah, we're in daylight savings time. He's in probably Central Mountain Time, which is an hour difference, and there's a lot of people out there. We've got a station from Blackpool where it is probably 8. It's probably 3 in the morning. Is it possible to be 3 or 4 in the morning out that way? It just might be. But people love the old tube radios and will listen in at any time. Or you can listen to the playback or watch the video at your convenience. We've got you checked in, Chris.
Thank you, Dennis.
Over to SWL 38. SWL 39. SWL 40. And there's Jimmy and Little Toot checking in tonight from outside of Chicago, Illinois, in Batavia. I'm probably saying that wrong. You can tell I'm a West Coast guy. Can't get the names right. Put a big X in the square for Jimmy and Little Toot. Thank you, guys. Let's see. Let me call SWL 40 again. Over to SWL 41 on screen. Let me get your number up and then get it checked in. And it is checking in from Hudson Valley, New York, as always. SWL 42. And I will get Jerry and the gang checked in. I heard him just before the Ditch Banks sideband, add-on sideband, sounding pretty good here in Midtown. SWL 43. SWL 44. And let me get Ray checked in. Putting him under the anonymous but great category tonight. SWL 44. Mr. 360, let's try SWL 45.
45, check it out.
All right, now that is an interesting sounding radio, and I bet we will be able to find out more about it in moments when we start checking in the tube radios. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Over to SWL 46. And I'll give Rush a check-in. I heard him check in on the Ditchbanks sideband net last night. SWL 47.
Well, greetings from the radio lounge. I was going to try and maneuver everything so that we were doing a check-in from the radio patio, but I got lazy. But the radio lounge is active. We've got the chicken cordon bleu home brew is almost ready, and we've got OTR and Miles Davis's Sketches of Spain going, which is just an incredible album. But life is good, especially with the old vacuum tube radios.
Boy, that is perfect music for the radio check-ins. I'll have to use that. Sometimes we need film music in the radio station coming up to the top of the hour. Playing some Earl Bostic and Bill Doggett. You know, Take 5, but Miles Davis would be a good choice also. Just kind of fade in and fade out. You're sounding good, and we do have you checked in. Let's see, I also want to say hello to, who else is listening in here? Paul V. and the gang over there. It's on the video side tonight. Just seeing who else is around. Also, as always, Albert and the crew up there in Squamish. The boys from Squamish, they have the barbecuing Baron of beef for an hour, and they're making beef on a bun. If you look at the Squamish Logger Sports, it is famous for that. Well, they are up in the balcony, so if you can't make it to the green room or you've got things you want to stay up in the balcony, look for we put in some big exhaust fans so that they can not, mess with the local fire department, make everything tip-top shape. They're up in the balcony tonight with the Squamish Barbecue, so check them out, won't you, as we say on broadcast radio. Over to SWL 48. I heard this guy out in the mobile. He sounded great. Let's see if he's on the base type station. SWL 49.
Hello, Dennis. Smitty the Miner 49er along with Sweet Country Mama is checking in, and we're waving our hands at you along with everybody else on the net tonight. We hope you guys are all having a great one and appreciate the check-in. Thank you.
Sounding good. Big signal here into Midtown tonight. Got you and Sweet Country Mama checked in. Thanks.
Thank you.
And Jimmy says, pronounced Batavia. Batavia. Rattfink. Batavia. All right, we've got it. I will practice. That's I've got the chalkboard here. I'll write it down 50 times. And get it. Over to SWL 50. And if you're listening, Mike, Neil, SWL 147 says he also is a fan of Sketches of Spain from Miles and Earl Boston from his early days featuring John Coltrane. I wish we could just play some snippets. 5 seconds of any of those great copyrighted songs would get us pulled off of YouTube. That happened. I played crickets. I kid you not. I played crickets one time, and that portion of the YouTube video got taken off because the crickets were copyrighted. So go figure. SWL 51... Dave is listening. He said he's got a big noise level. I'll unkey and see if he can make it through, but I see that you're out there, and I think I heard you earlier when I was testing, and you sounded great. SWL 51. All right, well, he's having a noise thing. We've got an X in the square. Let's try from the guy who last time risked his life with the handy-talkie and the 2-meter antenna. Let's see if SWL 52 is out there. All right, he's not cheating death this time. I'll give Aaron a proxy check, and he just might surprise us and come in at some point. Let's try the guy I can always count on. One of the many, I should say. SWL 53.
Hello there, Dennis. Bel Air, 53, the legend, checking in.
I think so. I bet, Bob, that you were back in the day, and it probably wasn't that long ago. Bob's kind of a young guy. Back in the day, you got those. They used to give those certificates. It's the high school certificate that nobody wanted to get. I got a couple of them. It was called the perfect attendance, right? You get those high school perfect attendance or the grammar school perfect attendance thing. I bet Bob got a lot of those. All right. Anyway, we got you checked in, and you're sounding good.
Yeah, Dennis, San Joaquin, CBE Bel Air. One of the boats check-in the list. That's when we had the San Joaquin Radio Bel Air time.
Absolutely. Thanks, and thanks for checking in yet again.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, going over to page 3. I want to say hello to Charles, who is listening in from southwestern Pennsylvania. That might be our... was it Monk's Corner? Yeah, you know what? I'm going to dial that up. Hold on just a second before we turn the page here. See what's going on in 29461 area code. No, that is the wrong place. Anyway, hello to Monk's Corner, South Carolina, where it's 70 degrees. It's 11:42 p.m. That is kind of warm out there. Get a proxy check-in for Mr. Boardjammer, SWL 54. Let's head up to SWL 55. SWL 56.
Good evening, Dennis and the net. This is FWL 56.
SWL, the shortwave listener, and let me see if I've got... Where did I put it? Oh, you know what? I reset everything up, and I think it closed the window. I was going to see if I could see your APRS running, man, but when I reset the computer, it shut all that down. So I know you've been out there, and 1 or 2 miles per hour is a good thing.
Well, indeed. So I finally saw my track on the map, and I haven't been able to re-find it again since. Anyway, thanks, Dennis.
Yeah, what happens is the radio, one, has to be seeing the satellites, I guess, for the GPS to be active and know where you are. And then your radio actually has to make a transmission called a beacon, a beacon transmission in the beacon mode, where it looks for and finds one of the node beacons, or one of the many, and then it will log you in as, I'm here, I'm at this altitude, I'm at this speed, if you've got that turned on, and all of that. So if the radio is set up to only beacon once every hour, and you only have it on for half an hour, and it doesn't hit the beacon cycle, then it won't. And there's probably a way, like on mine, that you can actually force it to go ahead and beacon, in which case you could turn it on, force it to beacon, and then find yourself as if you don't know where you are already. I know, this radio gets confusing. Got you checked in. And let me, before I continue here, Mount Pleasant is what I was looking for before, the area code 15666, where it's clear 54 degrees at 11:44 p.m. Up there in Mount Pleasant, right off the big interstate, 119, and probably having a good time. Close to New Stanton, Dickerson Run, Vanderbilt, Wayano, and Jeanette. Good old Mount Pleasant. Always good to have them tuned in. Let's go over to SWL 57. And 57, Mr. Brown Dog Audio, right on my screen, checking in building back from some pretty serious storms. Yeah, well, hopefully they're on their way and the damage wasn't too substantial. Lots of lightning. We were just talking about that today, about lightning, how here, even though we have lightning strikes here in the Central Valley, Central California, I don't think we quite know what lightning storms are, not like what you guys have out there. Looks like minimal damage, but damage no doubt, and glad to be back. No internet last week, but it's working good now. So I think we got you, let me see. Yeah, we got you checked in. And we're getting you checked in this week as well. Thanks for listening in. Mr. Brown Dog Audio, Worldwide Sidebander 1942 out of Central Kentucky. Next is SWL 58.
SWL 58 here. Dennis, it's great to hear everybody. The neighbor's kind enough to let me borrow his radio tonight, so I appreciate that and hope everybody's doing well. And thank you for what you do, Dennis.
All right, sounding good. You got big audio tonight. Nice and smooth and a good, typical, 9 pounds, good modulation. The good radio check here at the Old Tube Radio Network. And I know it's a busy time for you, so hopefully you are making progress in the right direction. Thanks for checking in.
Slowly but surely. Thank you, Dennis.
Heading over to SWL 59. SWL 60.
Thank you there, Dennis. Evening time to you and the fellows out there, the SWLs. Let's check in old Big Jake's base, the 291, the DX2527.
All right, the 2527 sounding good. And thanks for switching back to that. I know you have been running some big audio, big station here just recently. And I've heard it. It sounds good. It's walking the dog. I think that's what we used to say back in 1976. And hopefully that still applies today. You might say, walking the dog. But you know what I'm talking about. But to honor OTR and, of course, the Big Jake, 291, back on the radio, and it sounds great. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks, Dennis. And, I appreciate that. Walking the dog, kicking and choking the cat, and all kinds of good stuff. Appreciate it.
Indeed. The Old Tube Radio Network is where you are tuned, 27085. If you're checking your channel selector, it should be channel 11, oldtuberadio.net on the audio stream. The YouTube video stream is up and running, I think. You can put a blanket over the video part and just listen to the audio. Sometimes it's even nice. Let's go to the guy that sounds good. He sounds good on sideband 2 on Friday nights on the Ditch Banks sideband at SWL 61.
61, checking in, Dennis.
And doing a good job here on, what do they call it, AM, the Angel Music Mode of Operation. Thanks, Dean.
Thanks, sir.
SWL 62. SWL 63, Butterbean in North Georgia, who was out on ORN tonight. Butterbean, we've got you checked in.
Hey, dispatch, go to 20.
And hello to our new stations tuning in Tracy, California, Peachtree City, Georgia. That sounds like a nice place to be. What's going on in Peachtree City, Georgia tonight? In the land of 30269, where it's 72 degrees at 11:35 p.m. Having a good time there. Thanks for checking in. Let's try SWL 64. SWL 65. And it is warm. It's warm in the radio room tonight. I don't have the where did it go? The temperature thing has fallen off the desk over there, and I don't think it's plugged in. But I bet it's at least 75 degrees in this room tonight. SWL 65. SWL 66. Shortwave listener 67. Let me see if he has had to sign out. No, he's still there. Hello, Bill up there in Canby, Oregon, and was helping us tonight get the coax jumper straightened out and the audio up and running on the pre-show, and so far so good. I think we did a good job here. We'll see if we will see if it will last till the end of the program. Always good to have you aboard, Bill, and we're We are waiting for that short skip. It starts warming up. We should have some of that. I bet you'll be listening in over Channel 11. Let's try SWL 68. SWL 69, that is Kenny. He did pop by from Tulsa, Oklahoma, and say hello to everybody. Give us a thumbs up on the Old Tube Radio Network. So, Kenny, I'm going to check you in right now, and we'll look for your message on the video side of the Old Tube Radio Network.
Right.
I think there's a breaking station. This is OTR, over.
Hey, Dennis, can you check 114 Rickshaw in? He's out there fishing and can't hear you.
Yeah, I can do that. I noticed he checked in he got applause. Rickshaw got applause last night on the Ditchbank sideband net as he checked in from Berenda Slough or wherever it was. I don't think I could hear him. I couldn't hear him, but I know the guys a little bit farther north and up in the hills did. So, yeah, we'll get Rickshaw checked in, and he sounded awesome last night on the sideband net. Thanks for that.
Thank you, sir.
So we've got Kenny in. Hello to Korea's Cool, checking in from South Korea tonight on the video. Says he enjoys the program and the tube radios, as do I. Let's try SWL 70. SWL 71, and I am refreshing my page. It seems to take forever to see if Stan and Mr. Announcer are out there. In the meantime, let me check in SWL 72. Alproxian Radio Boy, he was out there earlier, and Stan, they just refreshed, and I see you out there. Another big contest going on the ham bands. I'm hearing a lot of out of USA stations, so it must be one of those worldwides, and they are loud. The big antennas, the big stations are all firing up on the bands tonight. In fact, let me see. Let me go to the HF band here. On 40 meters. There they are. They are. There's a Canadian station. Looking for here in backscatter. A big night for contesting on 40 meters, and when the sun comes up, no doubt, on the other bands as well. So 71 is in, 72 is in, SWL 73. I'll give 73 a proxy. John might actually be contesting tonight on the CW mode. Over to SWL 74. I'll give Miss Julie a proxy check, and she might be out listening to the music. Over to SWL 75. SWL 77.
Good evening, Dennis, and all the listeners. 77 on the good old Tower of Power. Checking in.
And sounding good on whatever antenna you choose out at the antenna farm there. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, thank you.
And Chet, I just scrolled up or is it down? I scrolled somewhere and saw that you're at 10-8 in Derby, 46 degrees outside. The sky is clear, full of stars. I actually think I saw the moon and some stars here. We've had some nice uncloudy weather. Snow is finally gone, and there are signs of spring in the yard. Now, this is where I wish I had the music underneath, one of those like little Disney tunes, but we can't have the copyrighted crickets. There were several robins sighted hopping around the grass. I did see hawks today flying around up above the QTH here. That usually happens. They get that little air heat thing and just kind of soar around. So the robins, the hawks, the grass is showing a slight green color. Just be sure that's not weeds. That's the green color I have here is all weeds. The buds in the trees are prevalent. Yes, I know. I have. Where is it here? Let me see. Yes, I've got the OTR handkerchief is in the pocket here on the seersucker suit. The radio room is warm and comfy thanks to the glow of the Old Tubes vintage Cobra 98. Oh, I wish we could hear that using a Turner Plus 3 desk microphone. Should sound good. Our Dennis, who checks in, runs the Cam 88. It sounds good with any microphone. And the radio is connected to the vintage super scanner antenna from Antenna Specialist. Those are in demand. If you can find somebody that's got one, there's always people standing in line. Said, you got a super scanner? Is it new in the box? Well, not quite. But they'll want it anyway. Thanks for checking in, that info chat. Let's go to SWL 78. And that's Richard down south. I don't think I've seen the Wildemar in yet. Hello to Spokane, Washington is checking in with us here tonight. SWL 79. SWL 80. And I'm going to turn the page. No, you know what I will do? Let's go over. Let's see if they already. Yes, let's tune in. Let's tune into the Bob and Steve show and see what's happening tonight.
27.0850 TR channel 11.
Up in the green room, or over in the green room behind all the racks of stuff here, where the beautiful people congregate. The Jingle Singers would like to welcome everyone to the Green Room Lounge for the first annual putt-putt golf tournament. You know, I saw the artificial turf coming in, the trucks, and I thought, hey, we're going to do some landscaping around the QTH here, and it all went down into the green room for the putt-putt golf tournament. That's okay. Sign up on the billboard in the elevator by Sunday night for age limits 5 to 19. Okay, we got categories 5 to 19. I will try to sneak into that one, but it won't work. 20 to 35, 36 to 56, and 57 to 100. That sounds more like my speed. There will be a $100 gift cards for the winners, plus a free limo ride. Talk to me, guys. Talk to me about this $100 gift card. At the bar tonight from the beautiful state of Idaho, and 10 and 17 have just grabbed their prospective OTR speakers and are listening. At the bar tonight from the beautiful state of Idaho, fresh homemade potato soup and a cheese tray with all the fixings. And probably we will distribute the recipes that Chrissy has for some other great Idaho dishes. Fixings to make your own sandwich, and the coffee is on Bob and Steve. Thank you, Bob and Steve, at Have Fun at the Golf Tournament. The Jingle Singers fed the fish, and they say they will wash and wax the Buick. Thank you. I was just looking at it under the cover out in the carport, and I had to put a little bit of air in the very, very old Michelin tires. Thank you, Bob and Steve. All right, now we've got page 4 for SWL 81. And Steve Areno up there in the clandestine location, the secret radio bunker with the stealthy antennas is checking in. And yes, let's do that. We're going to have a honk of the Bozo control proboscis. There it is. Even making 100% on the modulation meter for Korea's Cool for the most distant SWL check-in. I don't know what the long path, probably where he's at, the long path and short path are about the same distance from this QTH. Let's go over to SWL 82.
82, checking in from the ditch banks of Biola. Good evening.
And good evening did I see 10 over 9 on YAM audio? Mr. 82 Ron, who can also be heard on a very pleasant and nice sounding sideband radio on the Ditch Banks sideband net that happens Friday evenings here in the Central Valley of California at 8 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time on 27,365. That's 36 lower. So everybody's welcome. If the skip is in, tune us in and listen in. Give us another transmission on your AM radio.
All right. Thanks, Dennis. I think I just turned up the mic gain a little bit since when Jeremy was on it, so it made a difference, I do believe.
Yeah, it's working good. I think you're probably right at the threshold of what you need for AM, so don't touch it. It sounds good, and you can actually hear a playback of that on the archived audios at oldtuberadio.net, or if you are lucky enough to point your mouse at the proper point in the video, and you'll hear it play back, along with your S meter. Give yourself a radio check. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks, Dennis.
Let's go to SWL 83, Epimetheus 83 out there in Colorado, who was hanging out with us on Old Radio Night tonight. Is also here tonight on the Old Tube Radio Network. He's listening in the background, setting up a new PC he got yesterday. Well, good luck, and hopefully it's got all the stuff you need and more, and it will do all the things that you think it was supposed to do, and not less. So all the better to tune in the Old Tube Radio Network with. Let's go over to SWL 84. And I will get a check-in for SWL 84. And if I wasn't in the way, oh, there it is. The beaconing, thanks, courtesy of 84, 86, 87, and 88. The Old Tube Radio on-the-air beacon, which hasn't skipped a beat. I think I just keep that on 24 hours a day. I've got the Browning badge in front of it, but the OTR beacon just seems to be always going. Thanks, gang, for that. Let's try SWL 85. And then I will check in SWL 86, 87, and 88. That's the Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and the Snowy Owl in order of appearance. Over to SWL 89. And a proxy check-in for SWL 90. And let me try... Oops, I got to get into the right window here. Let me try, we'll try this again. It seemed to work before. An Echolink check-in for SWL 91, and we'll bring up the audio and see what happens here. That's Felix, KB6GFD.
This is SWL 91. Good night, Dennis, and good night to all the SWLs. Bring on those classic radios.
You know, I couldn't have said it better myself. Thank you. That's Felix from his location, and I believe he is somewhere in New York with the 2 call. I will check that. I knew where the location was, but I haven't written it down on the check-in yet. So thanks so much. Thanks for checking in. AB6GFD. All right, Echolink check-in is working. Good to hear voice of 91. Let's go over to SWL 92. Our pre-show crew has done a good job. Everything is working so far. I think that's because I stayed out of it. They said, "Do you want any help?" And I asked them, "You guys want any help out there?" And they said, "No, that's okay." So that's why everything's working tonight. Let's try SWL 93. Over to SWL 95, Warthog 95. Who is in the house here tonight, checking in from Orlando, Florida, on the Tram Titan II. It has been a while since we have had a Titan II check-in. And hope that you can hear me. I can hear you. I can hear you somewhere. Send out a beacon, and at some point it will bounce off of Mars and come on back. I wish we could hear the Tram Titan II, Warthog 95 in beautiful Orlando tonight. Thanks for checking in. Then we go out to Kermantown for one of the Dennises here, SWL 96.
Yeah, we got 96 checking in, and you're sounding good tonight, Dennis. I can hear you out here. Really good. So, anyway, have a great day and a great weekend. Good to talk to you.
It is good to talk to you, and it is also good to be heard. I think maybe the Ditch Banks guys have set up some relay thing bouncing off their tower. Likewise, you sound great. Good signal here into Midtown Fresno tonight. And Dennis, Mr. Prune Picker is one of those stations that we're always glad to have on because they checked in 25, 30 years ago, and then they were away from the radio or we didn't hear them, and then they come back and it's like, can you believe it? OTR is still here on Saturday night. So good to have you back, Dennis. You're sounding great. Yeah, Prune Picker out there in Kerman. Let's go over to SWL 97, Boston 97. Looking to see if he's there, or maybe I missed. I will check. I will check to see if he was on my list. Let's go to Fresno Dave, SWL 98. Then we go up to SWL 103. Over to, and don't go away, because the tube radios will be checking in momentarily right after the roll call. Up to SWL 109. Shortwave listener 110.
Yeah, you got 110 here, Dennis, 5150 on the old T123 Robin Old Board Jammers radio.
Hey, you're sounding good. Good signal. You keyed up, went full quieting, and then the modulation came in. Good to hear you. I think the Millerton Lake is a little bit low at the moment, so maybe that's brought up the radios and the antennas. But you're sounding good here in Midtown. Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah, Roger, Dennis. I sweat bullets. I haven't looked at the tower up for a long time, and yeah, he's got this D104, so I have no idea what it sounds like. But I can see the old electric eye that Larry really loves lighting up, and so I know my modulation's working. 10-4?
Modulation is great. In fact, you can give yourself a radio check if you go to, we're actually live streaming at oldtuberadio.net. We have that audio, your audio is archived in the OTR magnetophone, and there's also a video that at about 55 minutes in, you will see and hear and give yourself a radio check if you want. You'll hear your audio, and I think you will be pleased. Thanks for checking in.
10-4, thank you, Dennis.
Okay, we are doing good. Good to hear Millerton Lake out there. SW111, Robert, who always sounds good coming in just before the net, but has trouble hearing. Let me see if Reedley Town is picking up Midtown Fresno. Hello, or 111, over. All right, I did press my button fast enough, but he was on sideband, but we did hear you. I heard you clear out. 111 checking in from Reedley, sounding good. And I'll take another moment here. He mentions on the page, he says, big-time HF contesting, as well as a 4-day special event, the National Farewell for KA6LMS, which was the club station of the TV show called Last Man Standing. They have a special event station. About 4 days ago, I think when it started, they were on 40 meters, and they had one of the largest pileups I have heard in a while. And I think I'm going to see if I can bring up some audio from that. This would be archived audio.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Keywords that this is Kilo Alpha 6 Lima Mike Sierra Stroke 0 celebrating Last Man Standing's last season. Go ahead.
Kilo 4 Romeo.
Listen to this pileup.
Okay, ending in whiskey.
Kilo 9 Tango Whiskey.
Kilo 9 Tango Whiskey. Got you that time, brother. You're 5 and 9.
Say again, please.
You're 5'9", Tom.
Oh, thank you. You're also 5'9" into Minnesota. Thank you very much. Have fun.
Okay, we got Minnesota. Team warm up there. Keywords at Kilo Alpha 6.
That's the voice of K1DDN. at the microphone. And she was running the event station. I believe her name is Amanda, and she is somehow associated with the show, with the Last Man Standing show, and I think she's been on the Ham Nation Twitter feed. It was really a great pile up to listen to. Everybody was acting great. There were no lids. You can tell that Amanda is very savvy with radio and television, just a pleasant voice to talk to, and she would engage some people in conversation and have a great time. So if you can catch the special event station, they're all over the place, I think. But this was the late night or late afternoon on 40 meters at about 2:15, and they were running a station out of Colorado, and they had a really great pipeline right into California. You could hear her talking to all these 6 stations. Of course, I couldn't hear the 6 calls because they were too close. You'd hear the 3 and 4 calls just trying to get in, and she kept at it for well over an hour. Picked up quite a few things. So that's thanks, Robert, for bringing that up. That's the KA6LMS club station for Last Man Standing, going on for the next couple of days. Hopefully you can catch Amanda or somebody at the controls. The Old Tube Radio Network, hoping to catch who's next on the list here. SWL 113. SWL 114 checked in from way out in Firebar, Brenda Slough, or somewhere. Wayne, we got you, and like I said last night, you sounded great. You did a good job on the Ditchbanks net from checking in.
Hey, Dennis, I went 5 of them, but I also got the set today. Got the set for the club station today, so I'm feeling good already.
Yeah, you got to be persistent. There are a lot. If you can break that pile up, you can probably break any pile up. That's one of the biggest pile ups I've heard in a long time. But it's a fun one to do. So good deal. Keep it up. Thanks. Going up to the radios are coming right up. Your real glow in the dark radios. I'll be right here on your Old Tube Radio Network. SWL 128. That is John, who was checking in 20, 30 minutes ago. Not a good day for special event station. Not ideal conditions. Very high noise here. And okay, that's what it is. CQ Worldwide WPX Contest. Whenever it's a worldwide contest, you really hear the big guns from out of the U.S. Not that that's a bad thing, but you just realize that if you want to make a band opening, there is something about, 7 over 7 over 7 elements on 20 meters with a full legal limit and then some. They can open the band up. All right, well, hopefully it will be a better day tomorrow. Thanks, John, for checking in. Next, we have, I got to remember to put an X in the square, SWL 131. Then shortwave listener 133.
Dennis, 133.
And 133, we got you, Dave. We have quite a few amateur radio call stations that also check in here on OTR and enjoy the festivities. We should all get together, maybe make our own Central Valley special event stations. I don't think we'll have quite the pileup that Amanda has for Last Man Standing, but it could be fun. Let's go over to SWL 135.
SWL 135, if this thing is working.
It is working. It sounds great. And a teaser for what we might hear coming up shortly when Tube Radios check in. Thanks. Mr. Green Arrow at the microphonium. Let's go to 137 for a proxy check-in up to Course Gold and SWL 145. I thought I heard Mr. Tony in earlier. 145? Anyways, he was checking out some AM. I will give Tony a check-in. And I was looking for Neil, SWL 147. I know he was in... Oh, that's right. He was listening to the music we were. I'll get you checked in, Neil, out there in Kakalaki. Spring weather, heavy thunderstorms to the west. That seems to be what we're hearing out in that area. No skip to speak of. We had about 5 minutes here and there, Hawaii coming in earlier today, but just it didn't stick. Like that snow. The skip just didn't stick to the antenna very well. All right, Neil, we've got you checked in. Dr. Jazz should know a thing or few about Miles Davis. He might even know how to play a few of those tunes. Thanks for checking in. Let's go over up to, let me find the number here, SWL 188.
Evening time, Dennis. Evening time to all the SWLs. 188, Snow Beast Jr. checking in.
All right, boy, big signal tonight. Just a skosh under 20 over. And that is big for this S meter. You're sounding good here on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. We got you checked in.
10-4, Dennis. Thank you much. I had the beam pointed your way just to see.
Oh, yeah. It is a focusing elemental radiating device is always a good thing to have on the transmit side and on the receive side as well. That is, if you're going to do one thing to your station, that's always a good start. Thanks for checking in.
In time, Snow Beast Jr. 650 said it.
Evening time, top of the day to you.
And then let's go up to, if you know you hear this station, the roll call is beginning, at least for another week. And always, if you hear this station, you know the roll call is about to conclude. SWL 195.
195, checking in, Dennis. Thank you.
All right, sounding good yet again. Thanks for checking in. Over to SWL 226. And that's Jeff, Mr. Three-Wheeler, who was on the ditch banks last night. I will get him checked in. And anybody else I might have missed or you want to jump in here, I am listening. The Old Tube Radio Network.
Break OTR.
The Break OTR, go ahead, over.
Evening time, Dennis, and everybody else on the band. A lot of people I haven't heard in quite a while. I know you guys haven't heard me. I've been kind of busy with other things. But 650, downtown Pinedale Control, back on the plan.
All right, Pinedale Control beaconing into Midtown, great tonight, and sounding good worldwide here on the Universal Media Net Web audio stream. Thanks for waving a hand.
Yeah, for that. You guys have a good week. I'll see you next Saturday.
Okay, any other hello to Popcorn 913, who is out there? Any other stations before I go running around setting up for the Tube Radio check-ins? All right, and I will do just that because it's the top of the hour. I'm behind time here, but you know what happens when you are having fun. The Old Tube Radio Network will be back in a moment with your glow-in-the-dark radios.
Hey, Joe, Big Jake Bass. Evening time to you. 650 is checking out.
Go ahead and key it up there. Go ahead and key it up there for a while. Yeah, you on IM? Okay. Yeah, sounding good. Dennis will be right back. Yeah, you on IM? Yeah, that way you can check in as a new member.
Great, 12 TR.
All right, I think this is still the old Tube Radio Network.
Your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Indeed, brought to you by RADIO Radio. The whole reason that this net was put together 35 or so years ago is to make sure that the old tube radios that weren't even as old as they are now had a chance to have a spot to get on the air and to be talked about, talked on, and admired. And that's how we do here, continuing the tradition of the classic tube radios. If you're just tuning in or listening in, my name is Dennis, the net controller for this portion of the old Tube Radio Network, where we'll be talking with our radio operators and find out what they have brought from their collections to share. Also, our sponsor today, the pen that will go into the old Tube Radio Pocket Protector is from, it's actually a mechanical pencil. I think they call it different. It's from CBS Hytron. The CBS Hytron, a division of Columbia Broadcasting Systems Incorporated. So thanks to CBS, a sample Scripto pencil, a honest to goodness, real heavy, real metal, no plastic on it, Scripto pencil. There it is. For the video crew, the CBS has got the little CBS logo, and I will put that into the pocket protector here. And I will say the old Tube Radio Network, as we often say, the old Tube Radio Network is listening for radio number 1.
37 135 135.
All right, I've got two heard. I've got 135. Hang out in the green room. The green arrow in the green room is a good thing. You'll be radio number 2. And then, let's see, coming up into the air chair at 9:09 or something like it, Pacific Daylight Time, is Chris, Mr. Go Boy. Hello, radio.
And good evening, Dennis.
All right, tell us what you've got. I'll see if I can find it on my radio Rolodex, and we'll get started on the old Tube Radio Network doing what we do best.
Okay. What I've got here, it's an old tuber. It's in a black case, kind of a gold front, green numberings with in green background for the numbering, an S meter, and switches on the bottom. Do you know what it is? Oh, and a stock microphone, black.
Well, even if I didn't hear the description, and I'm a fan of OTR, so I listen in regularly, and I hear that killer audio and that great modulation, I might say that it has something to do with the beautiful downtown Burbank.
Yes, it is. It's from California. Beautiful downtown Burbank, California. Southern California is that. But anyway, now this is my general radio telephone, my Super MC11A. This is the 24 channel on that one there, and we are running this here with a handheld stock microphone. Over.
Stock audio sounding good. A radio favorite here on the old Tube Radio Network, the general radio telephone Super MC11A. How many tubes has that got? 9 tubes, 2 transistors. It's got the infamous, of course, the 12AX7 in the audio and the ECLL 800 in the output modulator output tube. Always sounds good. And a bonus, our next station that we'll be checking in is Mr. Green Arrow. And the photo that we're showing, if you're watching or looking over at oldtuberadio.net, the photo there or on the video, the very really nicely displayed Super MC11A is courtesy of our next station about to key up. So we've got a double bonus here. Anyway, the radio's sounding great as it always does. A great way to start off. Give us another transmission.
Okay, well, maybe, he might come out and fire up his general. You never know. He has done it before. All right, Dennis, this is mine, and it's still mine, and I'm going to go ahead and let Mr. Green Arrow get in here, and maybe he'll check one in, hopefully. You hear that? Hopefully. Come on. All right, Dennis, thank you, and I will be listening.
Okay, I know he's got something in the gate, and I thought I heard it. I thought I heard it ping, but maybe he was, tapping on the water glass with a spoon or something to fool us. Radio number 1, the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A. Thanks, Chris, for getting us started out on the radio side, and we will catch you next time.
You bet, Dennis. I'm back to the other radio.
What a difference. All right, let's go over to radio number 2 at 9:13 in some radio lounge. I don't know if he's in the Cabana tonight or not. And this radio might be too big to haul out there. Hello, Mr. Green Arrow, over.
Yeah, hi there. SWL 135 here on from Laconia, New Hampshire, on the Browning Mark III SSB Golden Eagle. Back to you.
And what a great way to fly it into the number 2 spot on the list tonight. Sounding great from Laconia. I'm looking through our Browning Rolodex to see if I indeed have a Mark III SSB. I might get lucky like we just did and find another one of your photos. And yes, indeed. Here we go. Back to you.
I won't do the annoying ping every time, unless you want me to. Let's see, there are 23 channels, both transmit and receive. This also does upper and lower sideband. And if you've got the picture of this radio, yes, I am on the amplified astatic Golden Eagle D104 type microphone. I'm sorry, I've got a, besides a frog in my throat, I've got a lot of meters to look at here. Harvey and I just got through doing major surgery on both the transmitter and receiver. So there are many, many things to keep an eyeball on. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, so is it sounding okay, or do I need to turn something up or something down?
I think you're good for audio volume. It has the sound of an eagle, which means it doesn't have a lot of super low frequencies because it just can't. You could drive that thing with lots of, below 200 hertz, and the radio just isn't going to pass it. But boy, does it have. And any station where you're in the noise, you're certainly not in the noise here, is going to be hearing you because it has that, as Bob Heil would say, communications quality articulation. That's what he would say on the radio. S9 and modulating with another at least 5 dB over that, so it's got plenty of audio. And yes, indeed, let me go back to the full picture. I do have the picture of the Browning Golden Eagle. Someone moved it to an advertisement. The photo is so good, someone thought it was an ad done by probably a big bucks ad agency, but I'm seeing a Golden Eagle, or a Golden, is it Golden Eagle Golden microphone D104 with it?
Yeah, these didn't come with them. This is something you have to get extra. One of these days, I'm going to put the original mic on. I didn't bring it out here with me, but I do have an original banana mic. And I'll bet it would probably do pretty well on this too. Oh, yes. What I wanted to ask you, do you have any information? I'm not taking the cases off for the 4th time today, and I forgot to top up the tubes. Okay, so if you have any idea how many tubes this thing has in it, please let me know.
Oh, wow. I think between the transmitter and the receiver, and I know I don't have a tube complement list when I click on my Rolodex other thing. I want to say it might have as many as 21 between the two devices, but it's going to be pretty close to 20 tubes, I think, between the two, the receiver and the transmitter. Over.
Yeah, I know it's a bunch of them, because we replaced a bunch of them. We replaced 12 of these tubes, including the new Vistors. It's got 2 new Vistors in the receiver. Yeah, this doesn't have any designators for the transmitter and receiver, does it? It's just the Golden Eagle Mark III SSB. It doesn't have like a, R27 or anything like that with it, does it?
Not that I know of. I don't see anything on there. The only difference would be the receiver is the receiver. The Mark III receiver, you do have, there was the option to get the AM-only transmitter, which was, similar in size to the Mark II transmitter. And then the one that you have, the Mark III SSB, which all those other pieces were incorporated into the one box. So I think both of those were still Mark III. One was just the SSB, and the other one was not the SSB.
21 tubes.
Thanks, Harvey. Yeah, I knew somebody would. You know what, Harvey? I don't have the SAMs on this thing. I've got the manual, and I was checking the manual, and it doesn't show any of that stuff. So I got to get the SAMs on this one of these days.
Alrighty. Yeah. You've got you've got 21 tubes, of which your model has 20.
Yeah, there is a tube missing as we speak from the receiver there, Dennis.
Oh, well, it's not critical enough because you seem to be hearing me the full time, and yeah, we had it confirmed from Dwayne and Harvey that it is 21 tubes, so I remembered correctly, or in your case, 21 minus 1. So let's see, if you don't, I'm trying to think, if you're missing a receive tube, but you're still receiving, what could that be? Something that functions and a noise limiter or an S meter, or I don't know, maybe something for sideband since we're on AM, I don't know.
That is precisely right. You got it. It's a 6, I think, have to ask Harvey, I think it's a 6BE6, and all it does is the sideband, so as long as I don't need to listen there, I'm okay. But we were shy 1 tube today.
All right, well, that's if there's 1 tube that you don't need, I suppose, for a Saturday night, it would be that one. So it'll be added on, and I'll make a note that this is a 20 tube. We'll keep it honest here. We'll keep it honest, but that you will have the next check-in, whenever that might be, we'll have the extra tube. Talking with the radio number 2, let me go back to the big picture, and this is indeed, I believe, the radio on which that we're looking at. If you're at oldtuberadio.net or on the video, the radio you're looking at is the radio you are also listening to that just got out of its refurb. What was it on the Wizard of Oz? Scrub here, rub there. Anyway, it looks like it got its makeover and is sounding very good. You will enjoy the archives if indeed you can get them.
Yes, I will definitely listen to the archives probably later on tonight or early tomorrow morning, because I definitely want to hear what this thing really sounds like now. It should have a lot more audio than it used to have once upon a time. Let's see, the nifty backwards on the air light is working. That's a good thing. I had some trouble with the transmitter meter light just before I came on air, but it's back to working again now. There's so much stuff going on this radio. It's exactly the opposite of like the Johnson 223, where it's nice and simple, 2 knobs, no waiting. This has all the whistles and bells, and if that's not enough, there's additional whistles and bells that you'll probably never have to bother with.
Yeah, the whistles and bells frequency. From 1972 to 1976, when it came out, it might have been anywhere from $650 to close to $800 at the end of the run. Not sure what little tweaks and peaks that Browning did to this radio, but in that 3 to 4 years, you could probably find them with a little bit different colored, different patterns on the speaker grill and maybe the patina, the color on the radio itself. But basically, a good seller for them. One of the high-end radios, but oddly enough, they sold a lot of them, and a lot of them are still around because they were so well built, and people do take good care of them, as do you. We'll go back to you for a transmission. The audio is good. And, during that last transmission, even if you're listening, you might be listening to the archives right now, that funny sound was you on sideband, and it wasn't that funny. I went to the sideband switch, and I did not have to touch the tuning at all. That radio is spot on frequency.
Yeah, you know what? I forgot to mention that. I do have the frequency counter, the freaky counter on here. It appears to be bang on. I mean, it's just flipping back and forth just barely between 4.9 and 5.0. But that's about as rock solid, I think, as any radio I've got. And I always have to use the frequency counter with this thing, too, because there's a knob on the transmitter. Oh, and again, if I wasn't clear, this is the Mark III SSB transmitter. It has both upper and lower sideband. It has a knob. It says VFO minus and plus, so I guess this is the VFO knob. But if you bump that thing, it goes off frequency. So I always bring out the frequency counter when I use this radio, so that I'm sure that I get it dialed in just right for transmit. So it's crystal controlled, but I guess you can vary the frequency of the crystal.
Yes, and we talked about that before, because the FCC, you have to be crystal controlled on the transmitter, not on the receiver. And in theory, to not be out of band, out of tolerance for the FCC, I think they allowed you a 700 cycle run. I'm going to say high or low of the frequency. And if you notice, Browning was super smart. I think they even have that calibrated. If you go to the very edges of your rotation on the left and right, it may say plus or minus 700. So they knew that what they were doing to be in compliance with the FCC, and it's also for sideband, allowing you to move the transmitter a little bit is really critical, especially when you have more than two people in the conversation, if you want to try and get everybody on frequency. So that was just a really smart thing that Browning did to, one, stay in FCC tolerance, I guess I should say, and to make the radio very friendly on sideband, which was really ramping up in 1972, and they were having a lot of competition from the imports, especially Yaesu and some of the other stations radios coming up on sideband that could do many more things, because they didn't need to be type accepted, even though they were not legal to run on the 11-meter band. All right, over to you for transmission, and we'll pick up some more stations, but the maiden voyage of the refurb is doing well, and it's getting accolades from the shortwave listeners as well. So back to you on the Browning Eagle Mark III SSB Redux.
Yeah, there were some scary moments during the refurb, too. Like I say, a massive amount of work was done on this by the great Harvey. And yeah, thanks for explaining that. That explains what I'm seeing on the transmitter, on that VFO knob. It shows 100, 300, 500, and 700 hertz. And I always wonder, why 700 hertz? So that was the deal, huh? That it was just like, this is as far as you're legally supposed to be able to go?
Yeah, so if they were going to give you a pink slip, and they couldn't get you for idle chit-chat, and they couldn't get you for, call sign, not using your call letters, and they couldn't get you for excessive power, and they couldn't get you for antenna height limitations and whatever else. If they could get you, a KC off frequency, they could say you are off frequency and get their $50 from you.
Wow. Things were terrible in the old days. Okay. Well, again, thanks for the info. I always wondered about that. Why 700 hertz? But now I know. And knowing is half the battle. Okay. With that, thank you for letting me check this thing in and giving it a good test and a good workout. It seems to be working okay. And with that, I'll see you next week with yet another radio.
Sounds good. That's why we are here on the Old Tube Radio Network. Radio 2, the Browning Golden Eagle, and let me put the rest of it in, Mark III SSB with some fresh tubes and maybe a few component parts right on frequency and doing what it did probably out of the box, maybe even better than out of the box back in the early to mid-1970s and sounding really good here in the 21st century. That is why we are here, the Old Tube Radio Network, to give our radio operators, our collectors, a chance to put these out on the road, honk the horns, let us listen to the radio, touch the tail fins, kick the tires. Well, we wouldn't kick the tires. But have a good evening. And this is what radio sounded like. This is what your CB radio would sound like back in 1974. So if you weren't around then, you can imagine that you were. Anyway, thanks, Cliff, and we're looking for radio number 3.
Break OTR.
All right, I have a break OTR, standby break OTR, and I had another station that was in before that sounded like they might be off frequency. Who was the other station?
45.
45. All right, Paul, let me grab you. So jump into the air chair. Don't take a transmission just yet. You'll be the next radio here at 9:28, and then the breaking station I think was Eric. Over.
Yes, Dennis. SWL 17 like to check in.
All right, I'll get you checked in on the SWL side because I don't think I have you just yet. Yeah, I'll get you checked in, and then if you would like to hang around, I will get you in as radio number 4 after we pick up Paul. Over. All right, good deal. So Eric is heading off into the green room where there is plenty of great stuff happening here at 9:28, radio number 3. Hello, Paul. Give us a transmission. Tell me what you got. Over.
Well, I tell you, the noise level is absolutely impossible up there. I could just barely hear you. So I was trying to stay with it as long as I can. Back to you.
All right, I'll keep my transmissions short. I can hear you okay, so if you can, give us a description of the radio on which you are talking, which is our Radio 3 tonight. Over.
Okay. It's a buddy. The roundup in the web is Marina Communications Buddy TX11B and RC11B.
All right, looking through the radio Rolodex, and I think I have it. Let me pop it up on the screen. I almost thought it was the Regency Imperial. It's running almost in a controlled carrier, suppressed carrier mode. At least that's the way it sounds. It's got plenty of audio. So go ahead with the transmission. Over.
Well, I tell you, this noise level relief would sure be nice. It was good earlier. It just came in, and it's rough. Anyway, I hope you got it. This is not that radio that I'm talking on. This is a newer radio for me. This is a serial number 114, so it's a very new one made by the Audiotronics, not the Marine. Back to you.
Okay, I'm looking, and this one says it's serial number serial number 333. There's another one. I think that one is from Harvey's collection. So I'll go back to the other one. I'm not sure. One of them has a meter light. I'll see which one's more representative. But take another transmission. We can hear it.
I'll tell you what, I'm watching the noise level. That's the way I'm hearing you. Anyway, I hope it might get better later on. Yes, I'll be listening. Thanks.
All right, we've got it logged in. It is our radio number 3 on the Buddy Base TX11B, RC11B. A radio sought after by stations that really wanted the big sound. There was a way to do some modifications on the transmitter, beef up the audio with a 6L6 tube, and I think you could put the thing into a business band output mode and it would drive some amplifiers quite nicely. And even in the stock mode like Paul is running it, it sounds good. Like I said, basically all I'm just hearing is the audio. The signal is down in the noise, but the audio brings it out. Buddy Bass TX11B RC11B. I remember who else? SWL number 2 used to, I think when we first started the old tube radio check-ins, even before we were any type of a net, he would bring the Buddy Bass, and it would always sound good. Its time is 9:32. Jingle Singers, they are not ready. So let's go to radio number 4, and I believe that is something from Eric. Hello, radio.
Yes, from Browning Laboratories, we have the Eagle R27 S23 with the 180 on the side.
Okay, I happen to have a picture of that with the whole collection. And the 180 is one of their business band amplifiers. I think there was a 100 and 170, but this is the one I believe that matches right up with the R27 S23 Eagle combination. It's sounding good. The ping is not overly screechy. It's I would say it's well orchestrated. You are well modulated. The ping is well orchestrated, and we'll go back to you for Radio 4.
Well, Dennis, thank you, and to all the SWLs out there, good evening. It's always fun to fire up this old stuff, and it's really nice to see it not go pop when you turn the volume switch on.
Isn't it, though? I know, I think Ed had to refurb the Tram, which should be making an appearance here in one of the future episodes, as you just heard on the Eagle, the Mark III SSB. Cliff and Harvey did a redo on that with, I think he said, no less than 11 or 12 tubes, and it is back on the air sounding great. That one is ready to go out of the veritable box, the R27 S23, called the Eagle, or the first Browning to wear the name Eagle. And that came out, let's see, the Mark III was 72 to 76. Go back 10 years, and here where they were, 1964 to 1966, and the price was about half of what it was 10 years later. There was a Series 1 and a Series 2. The Series 2 base station consists of the R27 Series 2 receiver, the S23 Series 2 transmitter. Some of the differences of the two are larger meters, neon modulation indicator, and a lighted on-the-air light. Looks like we have an operator's manual over at oldtuberadios.com if you need it. If you're still there, give us another transmission. Thanks for bringing by Radio 4. Over.
Always here for one more transmission, Dennis. Thank you, and appreciate you being there for us to play with our glow-in-the-dark radios.
Glow-in-the-dark radios are a good thing. Also wanted to catch SWL 13. Cobra is out there listening tonight, so Mike, I've got you checked in, sounding good. And the old Tube Radio Network is listening. I think the Jingle Singers, they have been not doing too much tonight. There is such a good spread going on. They're all practicing. And the old Tube Radio Network is listening. I think the Jingle Singers, I hear myself. They have been not doing... They have been practicing over there on the... there's a little putting green set up. So that is why it's hard for me to get their attention. Everybody is practicing for that $100 gift certificate. All right, they're to the microphonium now. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. Your favorite slot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
And we're looking for radio number 5. going on in the amateur bands tonight, the CQ Worldwide WPX contest. I think it's still going on here. Listening into 40 meters. See if we got any big stations. Trying to get some contacts. The band is noisy. But there are still some strong signals out there on HF tonight. Also listening for radio number 5. I'm looking at the comments tonight. Looks like when I get done here, I will be reading about potatoes. Now, I'm kind of a meat and potatoes guy, so this could be a good thing.
Break OTR.
The Break OTR. Hello, radio.
Hello, radio. SWL number 7 checking in. Also have a radio.
Okay, we'll go up to the SWL big board and get the number 7 item. Oops, get the number 7 item checked in. I need more desk space. I had a proxy check in earlier, but it is a full, what we call X in the square now. And I do have radio number 5 position at the ready, over.
Bringing back the Tram TR27 Echo. Had to put some new tubes in it. It kind of petered out last time I had it on OTR, but it's operating good again.
It is there. Sounding good. I'm noticing, I did hear you on a maiden voyage earlier. And I'll go to the radio Rolodex and get a picture of the Tram, which will be, if I remember, the one that we're actually listening to. The audio is a bit lower, and there is an AC note that I almost want to say it's microphonium induced rather than radio induced. So take another transmission. Other than that, you've got signal and audio and all that good stuff. So the radio is happening.
Yeah, I think I know what the little hum is from there. I will be taking care of that shortly, but I have to get into the case there. And yeah, anyway, as long as the modulation is there, and because I know it wasn't at all before, so it's definitely doing what it's supposed to be doing. Oh, and I see a picture of it up there on my computer. So, yep, the very radio which I am speaking.
Indeed. This has the variable receive tuning dial approved by the FCC, the crystal controlled transmitter approved by the FCC, and even get you another spot to put a crystal in. And the ever-popular large S-meter that is about the size of most radios, most VHF. I've got a radio sitting here on the desk that I think is probably the size of that S-meter that does 2-meter and 440 radio. All right, it's good. The refurb, this is refurb radio night. We had the refurbed Browning, which sounded nice. The Tram is doing a good job. Good to have it back on the air. And like I said, I think when you find your little item, then you'll have your full 100% modulation back in with all that. But it's good to have it beaconing on the airwaves.
Thank you, and glad to check it into OTR. With that, we'll get at least one more radio in.
Okay, 20 over S9, and when you add some modulation, it is going to another 5 dB, so it does have enough to push the S-meter. And thanks for radio number 5. OTR is standing by, and Chrissy says the Tram is beautiful, and I agree.
numbers
27.085 megahertz, channel 11.
are the magic letters
OTR.
right here in
Fresno, California.
Radio Magic
Old Tube Radio.
for you.
Listening for radio number 6. There is a breaking station. Try it again. Let me tune you in.
Gee, this thing is loud. Hey, how do I check in my O2 radio to you guys?
You are doing it now. I just have to. You are about. You're in between channel 11 and channel 10, but I can find you. So if you are on an item of interest, we can get you checked in right now. Over.
Gee, this thing. Yeah, I got a Browning Golden Eagle and 3-piece. Well, I guess it's got a modulator hooked up to it, but it's what came with it.
Yeah, it's good. For anybody listening, if you're in the local area, you're going to hear a station that sounds like sideband, and you are actually hearing the upper sideband portion of an AM transmission that is on 27080. But, man, it sounds loud. So if you want to hear the full audio, jump into the oldtuberadio.net or listen into the video feed, because I'm tuning into the station. Just perfectly nice sounding audio on the, I believe you said it was a Browning Golden Eagle. So that would be, let's see, not the Mark II, the R68, T68 version. Over.
It's just, there's no mark, nothing on there. I don't know anything about this radio. The knobs, it's got a switch on here. I mean, I know nothing about it.
All right, well, you've got it on the air. Hopefully you're hearing me. The transmitter may have been opened up to move around a little bit, but it's transmitting between channel 10 and 11 on 27080, but I'm tuning you in. It sounds fine when I get you on frequency. The audio is great. Don't touch a thing there. If you're hearing me, you've got the receiver set up. What you should have is the Browning Golden Eagle. And that was like they call it the Mark I or the Mark None, but like you said, it doesn't say anything on it. But it's the probably the R68 T68 combination, which is always a good player here on the Old Tube Radio Network. We're logging you down as radio number 6, and it's albeit for the off frequency on the transmit, everything else is sounding spectacular. Over.
Probably going to have to find somebody who could work on this thing to get it all where it's supposed to be. Okay, well, you got a little 10 maker here, 135, and I appreciate you guys letting me check in this Browning Golden Eagle.
That is why we are here. This forum on the air that has been taking place for about 35 years, not a club. You don't need any numbers. There's no secret handshake, but if you've got a glow-in-the-dark radio, we'd like to hear from it, and we'll do our best to get it checked in and let it play on the air. And we are streaming now on the internet, so if you dial in the video refeed of this, you'll be able to hear exactly what that radio sounded like as radio number 6. The Browning Golden Eagle, R68, T68, tent maker, one of the longtime players on the airwaves here in the Central Valley. Good to have you on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight, and the radio sounding great.
Number 7.
Okay. I'm going to get a bit less exercise with this radio because I don't have to move any knobs. Go ahead.
Yeah, I want to bring by the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB.
The Eagles have landed. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough to beat the Brownings tonight. They just seem to be popping up all over. And I think the birds are out. One of our SWLs was talking about the robins coming out, and I saw a hawk circling through the sky today, and there has been an owl up in the big eucalyptus tree out here in the back. So I guess the Eagles have also landed. You are radio number 7, and give us another transmission.
Gladly. Eagle Browning 2-piece radio, and of course the golden microphone also attached, limited edition D104.
Really great audio. The last 2 radios, in fact, all our Brownings tonight, sort of demonstrating why. Somebody say, why would you pay $800 for a radio? Well, this is why. Back in the day when that was a lot, it's a lot of money now, but that was a lot of money back then. Because 1, they were top of the line. 2, they were very well built right here in the United States. And 3, who would have thunk that, almost 50 years later, they would still be playing in the 21st century. Back to you.
Oh, thank you much. Yeah, I just got back in a little while ago. Wanted to warm up a couple of radios and make sure you get them checked in. Do a little bit more work to that tram, so it's sounding just fine for next week.
All right, well, it sounded fine this week. It wasn't 100% trammy, but it was way better than not being able to fly up and take a transmissions. And Dwayne 30 says, it sounds like the Eagles have landed or taken flight. I would think they've done both. And you're getting a thumbs up from 10 saying it sounds great. And indeed it does. Thanks for bringing by radio number 7.
Well, thank you, OTR. And with that, back to you. And thank you, Chrissy.
On the old Tube Radio Network, let me jump around some screens here tonight. We've listened to the contest going on. Hello to some of the news stations. Breaker Broke 23 is online listening in tonight. Good to have you aboard. Hope you have gotten a chance to get on the air tonight. And it looks like, yes, indeed, we have a visit. I know he's a busy guy, but he takes time out from his duties for whatever it is that he does to stop in at the Old Tube Radio Network. Hello to Johnny Defiant tonight on the Old Tube Radio Network. We are looking for radio number 8.
60.
And there is Joe. Hello, radio. Yeah, take a transmission. We want to get as many radios as possible here before we have to sign out tonight. Go ahead, 60, over.
Yeah, thank you much, Dennis. Doggone it, we're going to give you a break from those brownies. I know they, we don't have a bunch of piggyback stuff here on this one. Doggone it, it's all compact in this little old radio. I got my 10-tube Johnson Messenger 223 with the original stock mic.
You cannot go wrong with a Johnson Messenger 223. If the Brownings were the excess, if they were the, what would be the day? If they were the Eldorado Barrettes or the Lincoln Town Cars, if you were a Ford guy or a Chevy guy or a Plymouth guy and you knew your stuff, this is probably the radio that you would buy, and it would be perfectly matched. The Johnson Messenger 223, because you got all 23 channels, you got an S meter, you've got great receive and a great transmit, so what more could you need to take a transmission on Radio 8?
We appreciate it. Like I say, she's not overdone on anything. It's just a one little compact job. Excellent meter, nice view on the selector there, and doggone it, she's glowing bright. I can't complain. But anyway, thanks for letting me check it in, Dennis.
Hey, we are glad to be here and have this forum so that our radio collectors can stop by, key the radios up, make sure they work, especially if you've just worked on something, to bring it in and get some comments about how the audio sounds, and if you need to do anything. You don't need to do a thing with that Messenger 223. Produced by E.F. Johnson, who I believe is still around making radios. I don't think they're making any Citizen Band radio stuff, but back in 1969, 1972, this was their big base station radio. They had The mobile radios, the 123 and the 323, but this was their solid base station and a good seller for them, and there are still a lot of these around. It was the Messenger 2 with some extra channels on the S-meter. Take a, let's see, Sam's, if you need information and you got a Sam's CB23 or Book 23, it is on page, or it starts on page 53. Give us another transmission if you would, and thanks for bringing it by.
Thank you for letting me key it up there, Dennis. Doggone it, we're happy with it, especially now that we have the original desk mic to it. It just completes the radio here. Hey, okay, I'll get on out of here and let the channel rock.
Absolutely. We are rock-bound. We have to be on crystal control here. Radio number 8. Thanks, Joe, for the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223, the Jingle Singers. There's enough of them not holding golf clubs that they are going to tell us about how to spelling bee. All right, we'll learn something here.
Let's do some spelling.
OTR. 27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio. Old Tube Radio.
60.
Hey, this is. Oh, I think I've got the Johnny Defiant filter on here. This is the replay frequency, and you are radio number 9. Over.
I appreciate it there, Dennis. Doggone it, I'd like to check in my Robin. Let me put a light on it there because we got an awful bad memory today. We've been working on so many radios. This is my T123B on a desk Lollipop. Back to you, Dennis.
All right, let me find one here, the T123B. The birds, it is spring, so the birds are out, whether they're eagles or, in this case, the robin. Put up a larger picture for those that are on that mode. If you like green, this was Robin's green offering. When they went to the 40 channel 240D, they swapped over to the yellow motif. This is the, let's see, Mitch would say the I believe this is Panasonic chassis number 2. And probably one of the best and more popular ones, because I think this has all 11 tubes. So take a transmission.
Yeah, you're right about that. 11 tubes and a few extra channels to go with it. This is the modified version. I can go as high as 39 on this one, and doggone it, we haven't had a chance to do it yet, but right now where she's sitting, that's where we've been transmitting on channel 11. This Robin here has been gone over a little bit. Everything is fine on it. It also has a squelch knob. You can pull it to adjust the tone level. And other than that, the little blinking light is just blinking away.
Yeah, the Robin did give you, I think it was the one radio that had the full complements of the lights for the chassis. The external speaker, which probably didn't light up unless you plug something in the external speaker jack in the back, modulation light, which in your case is probably jumping pretty good because you've got some good audio. The PA, I guess that would light up if you were in, I don't even know how to put that in the PA mode. Oh, yeah, there's a switch. Off to the right side of the speaker, it says PA. So I guess that's isn't that the push button or turn knob? An external speaker. Here's the question. Have you ever put that through an external speaker? It looks like the speaker in the front of it's probably nice. You know, sometimes a 40-year-old speaker will have some issues, but have you ever put that into a big woofer out there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, wherever there's a button or a knob, and of course these are buttons, you push them in and push them to let them out. Where there's a button, there's a light. And I have had an external speaker in the back. Works fine. As the external's on, the light is on. And of course, you know, the only one that doesn't have a light here at the moment is your boost, range boost. That doesn't have a light, so you got to see where it's at when you're talking on it. But other than that, everything else has a light as you're operating it. And like I said, the external speaker worked beautiful.
Absolutely. I guess you could say you could share the modulation light with the range boost. So as you were keyed up, modulating, you could flip the range boost on. You would no doubt see that modulation light go a little bit stronger. So you could use the light for that. One of our Shortwave listeners, Gary has a T123B as also. Gary, probably in about 3 or 4 years. He's up in Sacramento. When we get that really weird ducting where you hear the really short skip or backscatter, might be able to hear the T123B beaconing down the valley here on Channel 11. But in the meantime, we have some great stations here with 123Bs that will key up and give us our Robin fixation. Radio number 9, the T123B, what can I tell you about that we don't already know? Looking up the Rolodex here. 5 watts, of course, 1972 to 76. One of the casualties of the 40-channel expansion. So they had to update the chassis, get all those, the extra channels in there. Otherwise, this radio probably would have been sold for a long time. It's got 11 tubes. And it runs the 12AX7 in the audio, which is also a good thing, and a couple of 6 BQ5s, and it does a good job. Back to you for a transmission on radio number 9. Thanks for bringing it by.
Thank you, Dennis, and doggone it, we're working on one right now. It's going to be one I'll be introducing here pretty quick here. We got audio out of it today, and I just got to figure out the wiring to a lollipop for it. That's a Messenger 2, and we'll have it going here pretty quick there, so we'll have a new member to the family.
All right, yeah, it's very similar to the 223 in the insides, and I know the Messenger 1, the microphones were wired right into the case. I'm not sure if the 2 was like that or not, so it makes it a little more challenging to pull the case out and get the wires strung through that, and I think those were what they call electronic switching. In fact, the 223 might be electronic switching. If you pull out the microphonium or disconnect the microphonium, the receive goes away. So when you're connecting microphones, you got to be careful that whatever the connection that on the microphone cabling that is necessary is connected right. Otherwise, you'll have the microphone in, but you won't hear anything back in the receiver. So it gets a little tricky. But we are anxious to hear that one when it's ready to go.
So am I there, Dennis. Doggone it. Yeah, and that 223 did shock me quite a few times. But anyway, we're still working on this one and some other radios we have here. So, Maya, we'll let you go. Let the old channel rock, and thank you much, Dennis.
All right, thank you for bringing it by. I see the 10 o'clock hour. I'm going to be counting and amounting. We're here if you've got a radio. Radio 10 is waiting. The spot is waiting, so we'll get it checked in before I sign out here. Let's go to the Jingle Singers while I do some counting and amounting. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us.
Old Tube Radio.
And be modern.
Yeah, it sounds like they're in the big concert hall tonight with all that reverberation. OTR standing by.
47.
All right, 47 will be... Oops, something. There we go. All my screens just disappeared. That's not a good thing. 47. Hang on. Who was the break OTR? 17. Go ahead, sir, and then after you, we'll pick up Mikey. If you've got a radio, you'll be number 10.
All right. I was looking to get number 10 in here. Put the headphoniums on. Plugged into the Courier Royale. We'd like to check this in.
You know, if you get a good, comfortable pair of headphoniums, they are actually a nice thing for listening to the radio. You can turn things down, but still hear full fidelity. I know Heil's got some things with the diversity, reversity, polarity thing. And if you get some comfortable, and these are sort of comfortable. After about 2 hours, I don't even know what these are. What are these? These are Sony's MDR 7508. So they're kind of mid-grade cheapy. Should probably pop for some better headphoniums here. All right, what are we doing? I'm looking for... I get sidetracked easily. You gotta poke that that net control guy. Courier Royale. I'll pop up a picture. Give us a transmission.
Well, seeing how it's coming to the close of the of the festivities. The person behind your microphone might be looking towards Bozo to mix him up some Ovaltine.
Yes, in fact, Bozo was going to make some Ovaltine this morning and realized we didn't have any left. So you just reminded me that I did not do that. So there will have to be something different. There's going to be something different by necessity for that. So that's on the list, making the shopping list. We need more golf balls for the crew down in the green room and a little bit of Ovaltine. Radio 10, listening to Eric on the Courier Royale. They're top of the line, probably the last tube radio they made, and they're top of the line. I think the advertisement said this is the one that was made for the CEO of the company, where he says, I want a radio that's got everything. I don't want to have to buy a Tram or a Browning or a Buddy or whatever and get everything. I want you guys and gals to make a radio with everything. So this was it. And it's sounding good. Back to you for transmission.
Yeah, compact, easy to read dial, and straightforward connivance. The quieting and sensitivity controls help get rid of some unwanted noise. Anyway, that's right, there's a tone switch on there too. So you don't have to listen to all that high-pitched crackle. You can get some low-pitched crackle going on. Thank you, Dennis.
All right, you know what else they did, and they knew that people would pay for it? They put in the Collins, I guess it's a 6 kilohertz mechanical filter to really help for the receive thing. So top-of-the-line stuff. That filter in there is probably worth about $200 these days. Just try and find one. I don't even know. I don't think they're making them anymore. You can find replacements, but that's probably what it'll cost you to replace that mechanical filter in the Radio 10, the Courier Royale. Thank you, Eric, for that. I want to jump into the, let's see, who's jumping in? Mike, head in the air chair. We'll be right with you. And I want to go to the SWL list and say hello to Wild Wildemore. SWL 78 is checking in. Back from dinner with the XY. Isn't it fun to go out to dinner again? And all of that. All right. Well, hopefully it was something good. Maybe you were celebrating something. Maybe you were just celebrating getting out of the house and having a good dinner. So let me get you officially on the page there, Richard, and you are checked in. All right. Radio 11. Hello, Mike, on whatever radio you might have here at 10:06.
Well, I want to talk about the radio, but you just made a comment about eating out, and it's funny, over here by Bullard and West, Max's Bistro has removed the siding from their parking lot tents that they had been serving in. So, I don't know, I guess things are happening, and maybe more indoor eating is being allowed, but there's no eating next to the radio that I'm using right now, although I have said that you could probably cook an egg on here real easily. This is my Robin T123B is in Bravo, or it wouldn't be like a boiled. You probably could boil an egg on top of this thing, but the 123B, which is undoubtedly, and I'm being quite serious, the hottest radio in my collection. I'm not talking aesthetics. It's temperature-wise. This guy just cooks.
That is a thing with the Panasonic chassis. You are not the first one to mention that it runs hot. But it may be just how they had the 11 tubes. The radio is not small by any means, where they're packing things in. It's actually a nice size radio. But maybe it's how they have their convection airflow or how they put stuff together. But, tubes are okay with heat. Tubes actually like heat. It's the other little component parts that don't do too well with heat. And transistors, of which there may be two, but they're probably near the back for some type of 12-volt conversion, do not like heat at all. So do not fret. Radio 11, it is sounding good. We've got a picture up of the T123B, and that is, we just had one earlier. So the birds are hanging out tonight. The robins are flocking to see if they can't knock the eagles out of the roost. We'll see what happens. Back to you for transmission.
Okay, well, I think for my next transmission, I'm going to ask you a question, and this was literally about 2 hours ago that this occurred, but you made some sort of a comment. I'm sorry, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but about 2 hours ago, it was somewhere around, it was roll call, and it was somewhere around SWL 22. You made a comment about someone that had like the biggest on-the-air light or lamp that you had seen, or you were making some comments about that. And I, of course, am intrigued by all sorts of things that light up on this radio, or on these radios, I should say. Do you remember what you were referring to? I know that's a rather strange question.
Actually, I do. I'm surprised since it was so long ago. And let's see, I still got you logged in as Radio 11 on the T123B. I forgot to write the B. And what I was talking about was on Old Radio Night. That's JTSWL 21. Tonight he was on, what was he on? It said the DAC, but actually the radio looked like an RC. Above the radio was this, and it's a manufactured item, device, something you could buy, and it was a Pride on Air. So I'm going to say it's some type of control center, but it's got this huge on-the-air light that says on air that lights up. And the letters are as tall as the radio that's below it. So I'm going to say it's 2 or 3 inches. And then the box also has some switches and some knobs and things. It's not fully shown in his YouTube video. But I'm so used to seeing a little red light or on-the-air light that's put into the radio. The radio would have to be twice the size to get this on the air. So it's a standalone box called Pride on Air. And that's what I was referring to, because JT also is known for his world's longest ground rod. And I mentioned that now he may have the world's largest on-air light as well. Over.
I don't know how to respond to that. That light I'm very interested in seeing. And the world's longest ground rod, that sounds really impressive, too. I don't know. Maybe someone needs to submit pictures or something like that, but that's very cool. There's a neon place over, where is that? Golden State and Shaw, maybe a little bit north of there, that's really good. Apparently, you can have them make custom neon signs. But the radio I'm using right now does not have neon in it. I did switch gears on you a little bit. I know it's getting late. The previous radio I was chatting on was the Robin T123B. Yes, I did pull a fast one, literally. And I'm on my other Robin, which I was going to use out on the radio patio this evening, but got too lazy. This is, for your listening pleasure, my Robin T123. Nothing else after that.
Well, there you go. This is the 2 lazy frequencies, so you're perfect. Radio 12, the Robin T123, which I have switched to, which also has some green items of interest there. If I can find the right shot of it here. Yeah, with the 6RE13, I can't remember the number, and the channel selector. Not as many lights and switches, but sounds good. Nice mellow audio. The audio is always good out of that Robin T123. Let's see. Let me give a quick plug for Old Radio Night, which is on YouTube. Actually, before he's on the East Coast, before we do this on the West Coast, but it's about the same time, like 5 o'clock. So if you go to YouTube, he's got a channel, or Dirty. The name, I think it shows up under Dirty Diaper 21, and it's Old Radio Night. So check the videos. The latest video for the 27th of March today would show the Pride on Air contraption, is what I'll call it. It's a box console that is with his radio. So you can check it out there and listen to all the radios that check in on Old Radio Night. All right, thank you for Radio 11. Thank you for Radio 12. We'll go back to you for a comment, and we're counting and amounting here on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Okay. Well, I think, unfortunately, the only comments I can make on that is that will be relatively easy for me to remember. Dirty diaper. I unfortunately had a friend that actually sat on one in the Crest Theater in downtown Fresno, which I don't think that is one of the nicer movie theaters in town. But almost 30 years ago, yeah, maybe 25 years ago, or somewhere around there, maybe 30, maybe even a little bit more than that, I did have a friend that went there. I don't know to see what, but whatever entertainment was showing had already started, so he walked into a dark theater with, I think it was his aunt, and sat down and immediately realized there was something wrong. And he realized that he sat on someone's dirty diaper. So, I don't know, if there's anyone in Fresno, if you go see whatever's going on in the Crest Theater, maybe it's a church now, who knows, just make sure you know where you're sitting. And on that, I know where I'm sitting, and that's in the air chair with the Robin 123 listening to everyone's great radios. Boy, what a joy this is. So, thanks to you and all. It's a great way to spend a Saturday evening, and on that, I'm going to send it back to you, 73.
Break, quick.
Yeah, we'll pick up the quick break. Don't go away, quick break, the Old Tube Radio Network. And maybe in the 1930s and 1940s, the Crest and Hardee's and Warner's and the Tower Theater were great, elaborate, big theaters. They still are. Like I said, they may not be theater-esque, but they might have had their own. The dirty diapers might have been a little bit, a little bit nicer. Who knows? All right, a great story. Thanks for checking in the Robins and the Patient Breaker. Thank you so much for standing by. This is OTR, the breaking station. Go ahead. Over.
24 checking in. Gotta go back.
All right. Thanks for being patient, and he's out of here. We got 24 checked in, so I'm counting and mounting. That'll add another station to page one. OTR standing by. I used to do that way back when I was working at one of the local TV stations, and I had the weekend shift, and it was either Kevin or Les or Dee or Ed or Jim or whoever was running the net. I would eventually get a break, and I would run out through the studio. They had this ladder that went up the side of the studio wall. You had to climb through it, open a hatch, and you'd get out on the second-story roof up with the satellite dishes, and it was downtown Fresno, and I could look out towards north to Midtown, and I would take my walkie-talkie, and I would check in to the Old Tube Radio Network, and often it was hard to hear me, and then once I got the break, once I finally got in, I would check in quickly and have to run back down, because that's all the time I had. So I know how it is. So I try to pick up everybody. All right. If the Jingle Singers haven't done it, they need to do this now, because I think it's in my contract that I cannot leave until we hear this.
You're tuned to
OTR Channel 11,
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us.
Old Tube Radio.
And be modern.
Counting and amounting.
One more.
This is the one more frequency. Harvey, if I counted every time here on the Old Tube Radio Network, such that it is, 1980s, 1990s, 2000, 2010, 2020, that you garnered the coveted lucky Radio 13 position, I don't know, you might be in the running for a prize. So go ahead.
Okay. Well, I could always use a prize. Number 20 with the R68 T68 Browning, obviously by Browning Laboratories, with the custom D104. The one I consider one of my favorites there. And that should do it tonight. Oh, and if Cliff is listening, I told him I'd do this. I'd turn off the range boost. See the difference. I don't know if he's listening or not. But this is me without the thingy on. And then when I turn my thingy on, I get like this.
All right, I was deft enough to put in the S meter right when you did that. So S8, with not a lot of modulation movement, I hear you just fine. S8 is above my noise, and the audio is good. Then with the Harvey range boost, it goes to an S9 unmodulated, but then it adds another almost 10 dB of movement when you do the audio. And it actually is quite loud. It brings the audio up. But it also brings a little bit of a, let me see if I got the note here, underneath you. But that's not too bad.
Yeah, I know. It's I'm running the thing with a power supply that I shouldn't be running it with. But it's the one that's here. It hasn't blown up yet. So I'm running it with the not yet blown up power supply.
Oh, well, usually the power supply doesn't blow up. It's other stuff that blows up. Or, well, maybe if the power supply is insufficient, it would blow up.
Yeah, I blew up one power supply before. But plus, I haven't actually cleaned this thing, the relays and all that good stuff. So I have to get to that, but I was a little busy today. I decided to venture out and work on something, and I'm a little tuckered, but I got it done, I guess. But anyway, I've got to make some room over here, and then I have to finish up on a couple of projects that two gentlemen have left with me, and they haven't come with shotguns to get it back yet, so that's kind of a good thing. Okay, I'll turn it back to you and catch you next week.
All right, well, a good job on everything. I think you helped us grab another radio on the list tonight. In addition to what you have brought by, and that's a good thing. It's like it's getting dark. It's getting dark in here, so it must be time to sign off. And that sounds good. The radio sounds good. It's always good to hear you, and hopefully we can hear you during the week on, I'm not sure what you've got set up for the 2-meter stuff, but I've got radios up, so hopefully we will keep in radio contact. Thanks for your efforts to keep the radios going and radios on the air, and the Old Tube radio network is standing by, getting ready to sign out tonight as our stations are saying, it's late. We were, it was a nice day all the way around, so a lot of people out doing things you don't normally do, whether you're hacking the weeds or working on radios or painting or dancing or singing, whatever you do. A lot of people were doing more of it, so that's a good thing.
Question frequency, yes?
Question frequency, go ahead, over.
I don't know if SWL20 is still listening, but I'm wondering if he might have, and this is a weird question, a metal detector.
I kind of do, but it's not working.
All right, thank you. Maybe some other time I'll explain why. I found something. One of my favorite things about being a homeowner is backyard archaeology. And after 22 years, I found something buried in my backyard. And I went to see if there's another one floating around somewhere. But there it is.
Yeah, maybe you found one of those was it like surveyor markers where they mark the edge of the property or something? Usually those are around the edge. All right, you are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
The current and final totals on the Old Tube Radio Network. I had to move into the light. Things are, maybe it's my eyes are dimming. It just seems like everything's getting darker here. Let's go to a different shot, and then we don't have to worry about all that. All right. I've got a lot to say, so I'll try and say it quickly tonight. Thanks, everybody, for your participation in the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. We couldn't do it without you. What would the Old Tube Radio Network be without tube radios to come by and SWLs to listen in? Tonight, we heard 15, on page 1, we had 15 SWLs, 19 on page 2, 15 on page 3, and 24 on page 4, for a total of 73, if my addition is correct. In radios tonight, we had 13. And the most heard, it was the Eagles. The Robins were coming back, and I thought, okay, they're going to try and make a run for it, but the Eagles just had it tonight. And since they have so many tubes, you have a lot of tubes, like 182 tubes checking. And starting off with the General Radio Telephone Super MC11A from Chris way back at 9 o'clock. The Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB. That was Green Arrow. Cliff on the newly refurbed Browning. Really punchy audio and sounding good, so that should be up and running for years to come. Checking in with all those tubes. Paul, SWL45, in the noise tonight. Thanks, Paul, if you're listening, for putting up with the noise and giving us a radio tonight. I know it was rough on the receive. The Buddy Bass, TX11B, RC11B, are fans of Buddies. We don't hear enough Buddies. I remember they were a rare radio back when I was really into this in 1970, 72, 70. You'd hear a Buddy Bass, but not very often, and they were usually really loud and all modified. Radio number 4, the Browning Eagle R27S23 from Eric, from around 1965. Mr. Ed on the Tram TR27E, another refurbed radio with some new tubes and some other items of interest. Sounded pretty good. About 99%, right? Radio 5. Radio 6 was Tent Maker. Good to have Tent Maker in. And it goes to show this is why we are here. If you bring a radio, you get a radio, you find one, whatever. This is the place to bring it by. Key it up. We'll find out what frequency is on. There's a lot of knowledgeable people that can tell you about it or give you some pointers on it if you don't know it already. And Tent Maker came up on Channel 11 here. Good to have him. What a treat that was. On the Browning Golden Eagle R68 T60, sounding really good. And just a reminder that we're archived on the YouTube channel, or the YouTube video for this date, and then at oldtuberadio.net on the archives. You have to click on the thing, wait for all the archives to load, and then pick on the date and whether it's an SWL or Tube Radio archive that you want to listen to on your favorite player of choice. You can hear the replay. Radio number 7 from SWL7, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB, always sounding good. Radio number 8, the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223 from Joe out in Clovis. One of the popular E.F. Johnsons. I bet they sold a lot of those. Have to talk to Radio Ham guy. Used to work there. Radio number 9, the Robin T123 Bravo, also from SWL 60. Radio 10, the Courier Royale from Eric. Radio 11 was the Robin T123B from Mike's collection, followed by his Robin T123 for Radio 12. And Radio 13, as you just heard, the Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68. Was that the Browning Lavatories Golden Beagle? I think that was it. Got to say it right. All right, good night, everybody. Thanks to all of you. I've got to sit down and read all the comments that I can't see. It looks like there might have been some recipes going through tonight, so I will look for those. Also, thanks to we had a couple of long-distance check-ins through the Miracle of the 23 Skidoo Echo Link Conference. Thanks to Mitch for putting all that together. He does a better job. It would take me clip leads and probably a twisted aluminum foil to do it here. He does it a much better way that actually works. So thanks, Mitch, for the Echo link up tonight, and thanks to all of you for listening in. Frodex, of course, for the Nixie Tubes, and we will be back next week. Is anything going on this week? I don't know. I think next week is it the Easter weekend or something like that. Anyway, we'll be back. 73, everybody. Before I blow up the station here, you are listening to your Old Tube Radio Network.
Well, Dennis, we know what you mean by blowing them up. We got enough of them around here smoking already. Hey, good night, and thanks a lot for the net, Dennis.
All right, 73 from OTR.
Good night, Dennis, and good night to Bozo Control.
With that honking proboscis now down. And, I'm being paged. I'm being paged by SWL10. When you're being paged by SWL10, you do not walk away from the screen. Let me find the keyboard. Turn the caps lock off. That's sort of something. I am here. I'm here for a moment.
Mr. Ed.
Let me turn off the...
Hello, Joe.
How was your night?
Let me turn off the RX. Give us some sounds of HF radio here in the background. Some crazy contesters. Looks like they all went to bed. The band is... 40-meter band has faded out here. And nothing going on the contesting site here.
Okay, thank you. That's set for the scoring. Good luck.
There's somebody here at 7161.
73, K0 Tango Tango.
Let's see, Chrissy, did you go away? You would. I thought you had a question. Maybe I answered whatever question you had.
1448, thank you.
Also,
Tango Tango.
what else? We got the video up. Let me also see if there was any items that showed up on the others thing before we get out of here. Good night, Johnny Defiant. Night 23 could do. I'll check out. Looks like we're still up. Maybe I'll check out quickly on the Echo Link here when I sign off. I've got to get out of this chair tonight. Get something to drink. I brought an empty water bottle. That is not what you do at 8 o'clock. Would I like a potato recipe next week? Oh, you know what? I'm a meat and potatoes guy. I'm not the best cook, but I could probably do something with potatoes. You know, making a salad is a challenge for me. It's like try not to cut your fingers when you're putting that tomato on there. So yeah, potatoes would be good. And then I'll take a look at it. If it's got a little too much of something, I can probably, take off the spice I don't want or something. But how can you go wrong with potatoes, right? Yeah, let's do that next week. If you needed a person for potatoes, I'm in. I'm in on the potatoes. Good night, CE. Breaker broke. Oh, the HF frequency. This is here in California, Central California. This is 40 meters. And we're listening to K0TT, who I recognize that call. And he's probably running big power. Oh, hey, his name is Dennis. He's in Farmington, Minnesota. So I just happened to tune in a Dennis, and the frequency I have is 7161.85. So 7161.85 here on the West Coast. It's sounding good in Minnesota. So I'm looking to see. Sometimes these guys have contesting. Yeah, he's a contester. Oh, okay. Here's I scrolled down. Here's the antenna. Let me see what he's got. Antennas. The station we're listening to in the background, TH11DXX at 100 feet on a really nice tower. I've got a TH6DXX, but I don't have it up. 20-meter single element, 80-meter rotatable dipole, originally part of a KLM antenna. He's got a 30-meter inverted V, a 40-meter delta loop at 60 feet, and an 80-meter four-square array, Roan 25 towers insulated. Wow. But he's got a big signal on 80. And he's got capacitive hats loading on 160, so he's loading up the tower. It's a guide tower. He calls it the main tower. Oh, wait a minute. I scrolled down. There's the Foursquare, 80-meter Foursquare with elevated radials on Roan 25. So he's got 425 towers. He's got 10-meter contest award, 60-meter contest award, sweepstakes award. This guy is in it. And that is why we're hearing Dennis hearing this on a little 40-meter vertical. And no doubt we might be seeing him on pages of QRZ. All right, I'm just babbling here. Let me make any more comments I need to make. Hey, Gunter, you made it in at what is it, 5:30 in the morning over there? One nice voice out of Fiveland in Germany. We're listening to, I've got the contesters on 7161 listening to Dennis in Minnesota. And, you know, you are becoming, Gunter's becoming ubiquitous. It seems like whenever I tune in some of these stations that do the live, we're on now YouTube feeds, I see the DK5ONV, the one nice voice call up on there. It's who's the guy? He's got a 2x2 anyway. I saw you listening in on his 7:34. All right, so add 2 hours. I've got 5:34 on the UTC clock. But I saw you on one of the live feeds a couple of days ago. Sometimes I come in and happy early Sunday. Wow, made it into Studio City. Studio City is about 150 miles south of me, near Hollywood, California. I'm here in the central part of the state. Portable on 20 meters. Yeah, hopefully, I don't have the big 20-meter station. If I had my TH6DXX, maybe I could get you on the short path. But anyway, I'm glad I stayed on for a second to get the one nice voice. Yes, give me an ova before I go. So I'm on for the potatoes. Gunter's in, 100 watts out of the field. That's right. 100 watts in a wire will do you. You just have to be you have to be persistent, you have to be in the right spot at the right time, and you have to have that one nice voice. What else? What else are we going to do? Nobody else here? All right, I'll sign off because the video is running. People watching the end of this video say, who is that? Who is that guy in the seersucker suit and the pocket protector? Oh, and you lived in Tujunga Canyon. Well, I lived in Manhattan Beach, down the road from San Fernando Valley and Simi Valley and the Hollywood Hills and Brentwood. And I had a good time in the 70s with my CB radios talking to all the guys up there. We're near the water, so we couldn't go south too much because Palos Verdes was in the way. That's where you wanted to be, but I could catch the guys up in Bel Air and Malibu and out to the west and all the south central LA stations. So, good deal. Joe Walsh, who was also a ham. Sometimes we'll catch him. You know what? I didn't go down to 75 meters. Let's see if there's any AM signals on 3870 that I can hear. Nope. Nothing. The guy's at 68. It's pretty quiet. I don't have the best antenna for that. I usually have to put it through the tuner. Pretty quiet on 75 tonight.
Okay, Jumpin' Jack Flash, okay, JJM. Name here's Fred. I'm up there in southwest Missouri, over here in southwest Missouri.
Wow. The band is long. That's 3916. Normally don't hear Missouri on 75 meters. So no wonder I'm not hearing anything. The band is long. All right, good night, everybody, from the Old Tube Radio Network. Looking forward to potatoes, Easter eggs, and whatnot. Good night from OTR.
You must have a few more logs on the fire than he does. Who is that? Buzz, what is it? I can't remember his small letters at the moment.